Hey YouTube, Matty's8012, Team JMT, coming to you guys with another deck profile, and this one is Tidal Mermails. You've been asking about this one quite a bit. You're wanting to see this deck. I've been talking about it a lot on Facebook, on my Facebook page, and I've been talking about it from time to time in different videos, and yeah, so you guys want to see it, and it actually has paid off in huge dividends here recently. I topped a win-a-box with it just a couple days ago, and a friend of mine borrowed it today and actually topped another win-a-box today. So it's topped 2 win-a-boxes in just a couple of days. So it's doing well, is the best way to put it. So let's get into this deck profile. Double Tidal. You don't need 3, and you don't need Stream. I mean, 2 is perfect, and I mean, that's really about the best I can say about it. Is you don't need Stream, and you don't need 2, because Stream does nothing but get out Tidal for you, and Stream does not help you answer Ophion. Where this actually does give you the chance to answer Ophion, because you can dump this and infantry to blow up Ophion and dump something from your deck, which isn't a great play, but it gets you past Ophion. But yeah, so 2 Tidal, Abyss Lead, double Megalo. I'm down to double Megalo because I don't feel like the 3rd is really needed. You're discarding 2, and I don't feel like I had the resources to do that with. Triple Abystus. This is a card that I could actually drop down to 2. I really felt like it was better than Megalo because you only had to discard the additional card, and it gives you another monster as opposed to the trap like Megalo gives you. However, what I've come to realize is that if you max C against Abystus, you've put the Mermail player in a situation where they have to keep pushing. His 1700 attack is really not big enough for a monster that you have to discard a card for, even though he does replace himself in the hand. He's not, his 1700 attack is really not as significant. You really, I don't know, just playing this deck, if you max C against the Abystus, you really have to keep pushing. You don't have a choice, which means your opponent's going to draw the additional cards. So he may go down to 2 just out of that fact alone. More Mermails. Double Abyss Spike. I realize that that's not what a lot of other people are playing. A lot of people are maxed out on that. I don't think you need it. I think 2 is perfectly fine. I don't like the strong play. What's the 1700 guy? Sturge play? Strong play? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of him. I do like it, but I'm not a big fan of him. I don't feel like it's really as useful as what I thought it was going to be. So 2 Pikes. Now, 2 Lind. A lot of people have been giving me hell about this, but they're like, oh, you're going to run 3 Sphere, but only 2 Lind? It doesn't seem like that really works out as great as what it should. Well, you know what? As fast as the format is right now, you don't want to summon this and push at 15, and it's extremely passive to set this out there and wait for it to get destroyed. It's really too passive of a card to really fit into the format right now, so you can really only afford to run 2 because you don't want to see it in your hand, because you don't want to have to be in a situation where you have to set it. So only running 2 limits the times that you're going to see it in your hand, and gives you the opportunity to actually search it off of Abyss Sphere, as opposed to, you know, finding it not dead in the hand, but less useful in the hand. Next is 2 Gunned, which is what you would expect to see, I guess. The Atlantean lineup, of course, you've got the 3 Dragoons, double Marksman, which, I mean, you're using Marksman now almost more for his OTK ability as opposed to his Destroying Face Down ability, because his Destroying Face Down, there's just not a lot of face downs left in the game right now. So his Destroying Face Down doesn't really count for much anymore. So, I mean, that is what it is. I mean, but you still need him because you can still give you the little extra push, plus he's a diva target. 3 Infantry. now. You have to run the 3rd Infantry now because you have to get past Ophion, and he destroys so much stuff now, so much more useful now than what Marksman was. So you have to run it. Double Diva, I only run 2 because, one, the plays that you have with Diva are not as good now as they were in the past. So I'm down to 2. Plus, honestly, this is a card that I always felt like you could run it 2, even when people were running 3, just because you can grab it off of Dragoons, and I didn't really feel like you needed 3 because you could do that. You could just go grab it with Dragoons and search it whenever you needed it, as opposed to running the 3rd. I don't know, but that's just personal preference, honestly. Along with some other personal preference, you come with my new tech choice. I don't know if it's really a tech choice, though. I've gone back to the Gen X engine, triple Undyne and double controller, and this paid off in huge dividends for me in my Winnabox, and the constant, it just gives you a constant answer for everything. Whatever your situation is that you need to use Dragoons and search for a monster, whatever the situation is where you got to get past a back row or get past a monster or get past a set monster, it just gave me so many options. Just way too good, guys. I was really impressed with this. I didn't have a chance to talk to DJ today and find out how good this helped him out, but like I said, I do know that he topped the Winnabox, and he didn't complain, so I'm assuming that this helped him out quite a bit. To round out the monsters, double effect Veiler. That's just kind of the point that the format is in right now. So double effect Veiler is in nearly everything, if not triple. So there you go, guys. That is the monster lineup. Let me get this out of the way. All right. So there you go. That's the monster lineup on this Tidal on Rails. Now the spells. I start off with 2 Sacred Sword of 7 stars. This is basically a destiny draw. You banish the level 7 from your field or hand and draw 2 cards. When Abyss Lead is dead in your hand, you're banishing it and drawing 2 cards. If you've got a Tidal in hand, you're banishing it, draw 2 cards, and then search for the other Tidal. So, it's just really, really good plays, guys. You have 8 targets for it, plus whatever you could bring out through your extra deck. So, it's just too good. Pot of Avarice has been extremely good to me since I've added the Gen X engine in. It wasn't as good before when I wasn't running Undyne, but now it keeps my Undynes alive, it keeps my Divas alive, it gives me the chance to reuse my Divas, reuse my effect Veilers, replenish my Atlantean resources so I can have more stuff to discard and make Undyne live even more. It's just really, really good. Monster Reborn and Heavy Storm. That is the extent of my spells. Now my traps, of course, triple Abyss Sphere and double Breakthrough Skill. Again, getting past Ophion, getting past just random stuff. And then another one of my kind of tech choices, which paid off huge for me, Ultimate Offering. Going Undyne, blowing up something, and then activating Ultimate Offering and summoning the Gen X controller that you just grabbed. Just made so many really, really good plays. It's also a rather easy side deck option to take out. But this was extremely impressive. You guys need to check this out. But yeah, it was also a pretty easy choice to side deck out and go into other stuff. Alright, so let's get into some other things. Extra deck, my tokens. 1 Abyss Gaios. I understand you need more, but you got so many other rank 7 options. I really think you only need the 1. Everybody else is running 2, but it is what it is. 74 Master of Blades, Draco, Big Eye, Bahamut, Dweller, Abyss Strike, which is my Bahamut target, Gotchi, Blader, Thought Ruler, which is really nothing more than a glorified Eradicator target. However, I like him a little better than Colossal Fighter because he gives me the chance to earn gain some life points back. Black Rose, Gungnir. Now that I'm running the controller again, Gungnir is a doable play, so he comes back in. DeLorean, Cataster, and Armory Arm. The extra deck, I used all of this stuff. Didn't have a chance to use the Thought Ruler. Crimson Blader wrecked in the Heretic matchup that I had. Made Draco quite a bit, actually. Never made Master of Blades, and I actually never made YuGiOh either. But Draco put in some work. It seemed like every time that I had a chance to make a rank 7 play, I was in a situation where my opponent had not played Dark Hole yet, or he may have not been playing Dark Hole at all. But yeah, so I would go Draco and just protect myself. Side deck. Now this is where some of the really cool tech choices come in, and this is where some of the really cool creativity comes in. Double Eradicator, which is pretty well standard in everything right now. Double Anti-Spell Fragrance, which a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you're really hating on Prophecy, right? Not actually, guys. This actually put in some serious work against Dark Worlds. Dark Worlds have a serious issue trying to deal with this because they need to play multiple spell cards, and this actually did a lot more damage to Dark Worlds than what I originally thought. Double Vanity's Emptiness, mainly because I don't really like my opponent playing YuGiOh. What I want to do is make my big monsters and then play this and keep you from being able to do anything, which is was the same thing that we used to do with Royal Oppression. So yeah, that's kind of how I play Vanity's Emptiness now. Double Penguin Soldier for Ophion. One Mystical Space Typhoon, just because I had the extra slot and I wasn't too sold on the Air Orca thought, so I went MST instead. Double Fairy Wind, which is another card for Prophecy, and then this is where the fun stuff comes in. Different Dimension Ground. This was another card that put in some serious work against Dark Worlds. Let me read this card to you guys. This turn, any monster sent to the graveyard is removed from play instead. Rather simple in text, however, extremely complex whenever it comes to the ability of playing this card. Because again, you want to be able to stop some stuff going to the grave because they want to, in the mirror match. These cards help out so much because you can make all the plays you want to make, and then they go to make their play. You activate this. They can't discard their monsters to the graveyard. It stops the Grapha plays against Dark Worlds. It's basically a one-turn defissure, and it's a lot harder to play against than what people think, because the one issue that I had was I made the play, and then my Dark World matchup, since it didn't stay on the field, it went to the graveyard. He forgot. Like halfway into his turn, he took forever on his turn, and about halfway into his turn, he forgot that card was active still. So I was like, "No, I'm sorry that you don't get that effect because it doesn't get discarded to the graveyard. It gets removed from play instead." And he was like, "Oh crap." So yeah, I mean, it was just so good. Put in so much work. The mirror match was so much easier, and the Dark World match was almost non-existent because of the card. And then the last one, Memory of an Adversary. Chris Provacek, I can't remember the guy's name, tried this out at the New Jersey YCS, and I've kind of had it on the back burner ever since. And at this Winnabox, I knew some of the guys there were going to be playing Chaos Dragons, and I knew some of the guys, that's why I had that in there also. That card was good against that matchup too. And I knew some of the guys were going to be playing Six Sams. So my play for them was Fairy Wind. I brought in Fairy Wind against the 6 Sam matchup. I never had the chance to play 6 Sams in the actual game or in the actual tournament. I play tested against them. So I brought in Fairy Wind also for them. So he has a United and a Gateway and a United and a Sheehan. He goes to start pushing to kill me. I activate Fairy Wind to destroy his Gateway and his United, of course, which he negates with Sheehan. He declares the attack. I Fairy Wind to the attack to destroy the face-up cards. He negates the Fairy Wind, and then I activate Memory of an Adversary to take his Sheehan. That play in play testing before the tournament was just too good. Again, like at that point he just began to lose because I took the 25 damage. Removed the Sheehan and then gained it back a couple turns later, and he had no answer to Sheehan, and I just began to just win that game. As far as the deck was concerned, everything was really good for me. I know some of the problems that I did have in mind, I decided to fix. I had to play against Heretics and against Karakuris. So I ended up dropping these two from the deck and adding these two in before DJ had the chance to borrow the deck. So he actually plays this build. And again, also tops the Winnabox. I got me a nasty little glare right here. But he also tops with the Winnabox, and that was literally the build that he ran. He did not run the Ultimate Offering that I did, and he only ran one sword, a Sacred Sword of 7 stars. After his result, this is at 42 for the main deck. I think I'm going to bump it up to 43 and add in the second Sacred Sword back in and keep the Max C's in and just drop the Ultimate Offering. Even though it was an excellent tech option and it made some extremely good plays, I feel like the plays and the options that the second Sacred Sword and that the would give me is more consistent, and I feel like the need for Max C for the times that you will run into Heretics and you will run into Karakuris and you will run into the mirror match, the need for Max C outweighs the time that you would have to OTK because of the Ultimate Offering. So the need for these is greater than the potential this card has, and the consistency that the 7 swords add is better than the potential that this gives you. So there you go, guys. There is Maddie's Daddy 12's Tidal Mermail deck. I feel like it is rather original. I feel like it is quite a bit different than what anybody else is running, especially when it comes to the side deck. I feel like I'm giving a lot of extra thought and extra effort into the side deck, and that's what really makes this deck pay off. So I really feel like that is what gives this deck the opportunity to compete against Prophecy and Spellbook and Dragon Rulers and all the other rogue stuff that you can overpower with this deck. So there you go, guys. I appreciate it. Subscribe, comment down below, show us how much you love us.